Hey guys, this is Undercovered all the way from Down Under, and today we're going to be talking about the best class in LawBreakers, the Enforcer. Now when I mean the best, I don't mean the most overpowered, I mean the class that will go and win you matches over and over again, the most consistently powerful character in the game. Currently, we're in the middle of the last open beta for LawBreakers, and I can confidently say that no matter what nerfs or changes come the Enforcer's way, this class will still be one of the most effective in the game throughout the whole lifespan of LawBreakers. Let's get right into it, starting with the Enforcer's Air Raider Rifle, an assault rifle that shreds enemies at close, medium, and long range. With 35 bullets in the magazine, a relatively low amount of spread, and great accuracy, this weapon is fantastic for spraying down opponents or pre-firing corners. But add in the awesome damage and insane fire rate, and the Air Raider Rifle can shred people faster than the Vanguard's minigun if you're good enough. What people don't know is that the longer you fire, the more damage you do. So in extended firefights, the Enforcer will more than likely win out even if he goes and misses a few shots in the beginning. This weapon right here will easily go and show the difference between a good and a bad LawBreakers player, as tracking your opponents is so important in this game. And with that said, the Enforcer has a relatively low skill floor, just spraying it close to the medium range, but in order to go and maximize your effectiveness, going and tracking your opponents for those long range shots are so important. Moving on to his secondary weapon, the Badger. This weapon pulls in clutch, a close range shotgun-like shock pistol, which fires fast and shreds enemies even faster. If spraying a whole magazine into an enemy with the Air Raider doesn't get the finishing blow, no doubt the Badger will, even if the enemy is at medium range. What is great about this secondary is that it's very forgiving. The hitbox for this weapon is large enough that aiming somewhere near your enemy will go and register a hit, which makes it perfect for close range panic brawls. Right clicking also changes the orientation of the spread, vertical or horizontal. I've personally just kept it in the vertical position, but there could be some cool ideas worked around this mechanic sometime in the future. So I think we've gone and established that the Enforcer does a lot of damage. Well, with his shift ability called Distortion Field, it amplifies that damage even further. While toggled on, it increases the movement, firing, and reload speed of him and any allies inside his field. This not only amplifies his own damage, be it with the Air Raider or Badger, but also serves as a utility ability for his teammates, be it to get out of spawn really quick or to shave down the reload time just by a little bit in order to get off a clutch last bullet. But with that said, more than likely you won't run out of fuel if your aim is good enough. That's because hitting enemies replenishes your fuel bar, and kills and assists replenishes a large chunk. This is a key reason why the Enforcer is so good. He can put out a ton of damage and move fast, and continue to go move fast with consistent hits on his opponents. In this patch, the amount replenished per hit was cut in half, however the amount gained from kills was still absolutely insane, so going chaining kills or assists together into a massive spree of half resets is a very easy thing to do. His second standard ability is the Electro Mag Charge, which is by far the best ability in the whole game. Enemies hit by this large radius grenade cannot use any abilities for a short duration of time. Since LawBreakers has a large dependence on abilities for movement, this grenade goes and cripples classes like the Vanguard and Assassin, and is one reason why both of these classes have gone and fallen out of favour. The thing is that the grenade can be tweaked, but the core function cannot really be changed. Reducing the amount of disruption time, blast radius, cooldown, etc. can all go and hinder the ability by a bit, but the fact it goes and prevents ability use in the first place is akin to hard crowd control in Overwatch. A lot of people really don't realize the power, but please keep in the back of your mind that it makes so many classes useless if you can go and hit the grenade properly. Up to this point, I would go and say that Enforcer is strong, but it all comes down to who is playing him. Seasoned veterans will be able to go and exploit every inch of the previous abilities and weapons in order to go and achieve maximum effectiveness. However, newer players that don't really know the game, will just go and spray the assault rifle, might get a kill or two, but overall won't go and put in the best performance. Any overpowered elements, which to me is mainly based around the assault rifle, can be tweaked a little bit by little bit in order to go and find the sweet spot. That is a-okay, I'm not complaining about that. But now we move on to the Bloodhound launcher, which is the most bullshit cheese cancer ability in the whole game. LawBreakers is a game that is meant to be based on skill, however the Bloodhound launcher completely goes against those ideals. Press Q, lock onto a target, fire 4 missiles, the missiles track the enemy and basically insta-kill that enemy if they aren't a Juggernaut or a Titan. Yes, evading the rockets can be done if you duck behind cover, but in the middle of a 0G zone, there really isn't much cover you can go and duck behind. Or if you're in close range and you're staring down the barrel of the rocket launcher, there really isn't any cover there as well. This ultimate ability has no real skillful counter, and this is what frustrates me. Dying to the Bloodhound launcher feels like cheese, in comparison to dying to, let's say, the Titan's Enraged form, which a lot of people are saying is a little bit of a skillless ability because you have a lot of health, you just go and press the left click and then lightning goes and launches from your hand, but you still have to go and aim that, you have to go and position properly, because if you go and use it in a really bad position, it's going to be absolutely useless. Overall, you still have to go and think about that ability quite a lot, but with the Bloodhound launcher, you can just go and use it, really anywhere the opponent isn't behind cover, which is, a lot of the time in LawBreakers, being there is a lot of open corridors, a lot of open areas, and then you just press, and then boom, you got a kill. It's the most cheese way to go and get a kill in this game, and it's absolutely filthy. So now I'm going to go and suggest an idea to rework the Enforcer's ultimate ability, which goes and promotes his aim heavy style even more and removes any sense of cheapness. In the pre-alpha, the Enforcer's air raid rifle could go and aim down sights with right click. This means that in the alpha, the Enforcer was insanely overpowered, and meant that LawBreakers was basically a game of play Enforcer or play Assassin, who was very overpowered as well, in order to go and win. Now this mechanic has been left out of the Enforcer's kit ever since, but I reckon it could come back through his ultimate. Now automatically some people go and jump to Soldier 76's ult, but this is vastly different. Pressing Q would allow the Enforcer to aim down sights, and that would grant him enhanced accuracy and reduce spread for a short duration of time. This would make his core identity about the shooting, not the rocket launcher, and if new players were having a little bit of trouble, then his ult could go and give a little bit of a helping hand. It's not going to be basically aimbot with the Soldier 76 ult, but it's going to make it a lot easier to go and hit those shots, and for newer players, obviously, it's going to be a really big godsend, but for, more experienced players, it's also going to be a thing that's going to go and boost their gameplay even further. For a visual indicator, a laser beam could be emitted from an attachment on his gun, similar to like a laser sight in Call of Duty, and this would be able to go and tell enemies to stay clear from the Enforcer for that short duration of time. And to be perfectly honest, I can't really think of any downsides to this new ultimate. When you go and have a look at it, it goes and lowers the skill ceiling. It makes it quite easy for new players if they just want to go and get a kill or two. They could just try to go and aim around the chest, and if they have, somewhat half decent type of aim, they might be able to go and get, 3/4 of the health bar of an enemy taken down. They might have to go and swap over to the Badger later on, but with that said, it will go and help them out a little bit. But for high skill players, they wouldn't be aiming for the chest, right? They would be aiming for the head. And with that small window, they could just try to go and track a target, but in 0G, very difficult, but they could try to go and track a target, and in the end of it, they could go and get a crucial kill. But the window for the ultimate would be very small, like less than 5 seconds. I don't know, any specific details of values and whatnot, but I'm just trying to go and give a general idea. So with that said, it would go and increase the skill ceiling even more, because this ultimate would come into play really big in those long range fights, but also in the medium range fights where the majority of the Enforcer's work is done. But with that said, I just want the Bloodhound launcher gone. It is cheese, it is cancer, it's probably the most annoying, the most counterless ability in the game, and overall it makes LawBreakers a really boring, a really unfun experience. Unfun isn't a word, but you know what I mean. A really dissatisfying experience when you just go and get hit by that ultimate. And the fact you can go and stack multiple Enforcers on one team, you can go and verse like a 4-man Enforcer stack, and then every time you're up, you're getting hit by Bloodhound launcher upon Bloodhound launcher, and it's just the most annoying thing in the world. Now again, this is all just an idea, but my point still goes and stands. No matter what happens to the Enforcer, his damage and utility will still be top tier, and he still will be played at low and high tiers of play for as long as the game servers are online. I also completely forgot to go and talk about his health value, which is 400. 400, that is 100 more than the Assassin. Overall, this character puts out damage and can go and tank it up as well. I think if there's any changes to the Enforcer, it has to be to his HP pool. Go and reduce it just by a little bit, maybe 25 points, bring down the 375, and I think that would go and balance the character like quite a lot, because he puts out arguably more damage than the Assassin, arguably more damage than the Wraith if you go and play him properly, arguably more damage than the Vanguard. However, he has by far one of the highest health pools in the game. So that doesn't really make any sense to me. And I think if there was anything to go and work on to try to make the character better, it would try to go and work on that long range damage even more, even though it got nerfed a little bit. You got to go and work that a little bit more, I believe, and also the health pool. A lot of people go and call the Enforcer the beginner character or the starter character, but I beg to go and differ. He's a character that everybody can go and pick up, and in the end of it, you're never going to go and play him perfectly. He continually goes and demands the most out of your aim with the air raid assault rifle, but also tactical positioning with his shift ability, also trying to go and use that E, trying to go and use that grenade, the electromag grenade, in the best ways possible. Always stuff to go and learn with that character. It's just his ultimate goes and upsets the rest of his kit really, really, really hugely. And I think if that got changed, then overall I think Enforcer would be one of the most pinnacle classes for the game, because it goes and shows that, okay, skill is the most important thing in the game, and if you don't have skill, then you're going to get absolutely decimated. I would love to go and hear your opinions in the comments section below. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure to go and give it a like rating. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from down under, out.